And the last team we had is head coach Rich Rod back home at West Virginia. West Virginia was coming off a 6-7, 5-4 season. Pretty good Big 12 season. Not so good overall. I mean, I think it's solid. I mean, they did lose the bowl game, the Frisco Bowl, 42-37 to Memphis, but Memphis was a really good team who was in contention for the American Athletic Conference title. So not a bad loss. They returned 3 starters on offense. That's all they returned. Just the 3 starters on offense, which is the fewest in the Big 12. They returned Jaheim White, a running back who had 149 carries, 845 yards, and 5.7 a carry, 7 touchdowns. Returned Rodney Gallagher, a receiver who had 26 receptions, 288 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And Preston Fox, a receiver who had 12 catches, 431 yards. Now they lost their quarterback and Garrett Green, who West Virginia fans love, 189 yards, 189 to 315, 60% completion percentage, 2,300 yards, 15 touchdowns to 12 interceptions, 751 rushing yards, and 6 touchdowns. He's trying to make the Bucks as a wide receiver. C.J. Donaldson transferred to Oregon, who had 163 carries, 734 yards, 4.5 a carry, and 11 touchdowns. Hudson Clement, a receiver who transferred to Illinois, who had 51 catches, 741 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Cole Taylor, a tight end, who had 43 catches, 444 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Anthony Wilson Jr., a safety, who had 102 total tackles, 52 solos, 3 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, and a touchdown. They lost Josiah Trotter, a linebacker who transferred to Mizzou, who had 93 total tackles, 37 solos, half a sack, 2 pass breakups, and an interception. Trey Latham, a linebacker, transferred to Kansas, who had 79 total tackles, 40 solos, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. T.J. Jackson, a defensive lineman, who had 40 total tackles, 21 solos, 6.5 sacks, and a forced fumble recovery. Sean Martin, a defensive tackle, had 23 total tackles, 8 solos, 3.5 sacks, and a pass breakup. Garnett Hollis Jr., a cornerback who's trying to make the Packers, who had 46 total tackles, 27 solos, 6 pass breakups, and a fumble recovery. Tyron Bradley Jr., a linebacker, who had 56 total tackles, 20 solos, a sack and a half, 4 pass breakups, interception, forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, and a scoop and score for a touchdown. And Dantes Fagan, cornerback, who had 37 total tackles, 23 solos, 3 pass breakups, and a fumble recovery. Now, they were 49th overall recruiting class, 30th for transfers. Then I forgot to also mention Colorado, but they had a bunch of transfers. I want to say he had like 54 at Rich Rod. They brought in guys like Grayson Barnes, the tight end from Northern Illinois, who had 31 catches, 338 yards, 4 touchdowns. Fred Perry, a safety out of Jacksonville State, who I really like, who had 109 total tackles, 46 solos, 3 sacks, 2 pass breakups, and 2 forced fumbles. Cam Vaughn, his speedy down the field receiver, 48 total catches, 803 yards, and 5 touchdowns from Jack State as well. And Brandon Siders at edge from Wyoming, who had 22 total tackles, 12 solos, 3.5 sacks. Now, let's get into the schedule, where they start off against Robert Morris. I have as a win. Then they play at Ohio. I have as a win, but that's a tough game. Backyard brawl at home against Pitt, I have as a loss. At Kansas, I have as a win. At home against Utah, I have as a loss. On the road against BYU, I have as a loss. On the road against UCF, I have as a win. At home against TCU, I have as a loss. On the road against Houston, I have as a loss. At home against Colorado, I have as a win. On the road against Arizona State, I have as a loss. And at home against Texas Tech, I have as a loss, going 5-7, 3-6, taking the under 5.5 win total for West Virginia. Now, I do think Rich Rod builds from that. And I do think there's some games that can flip that make Rich Rod make a bowl game, but that's just what I got. My standings. Let's wrap up this.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.